I want to take a moment today to talk about something that might be a little controversial. I don't know what you're saying. Yankee, talk about something controversial? That's crazy. But I want to talk about militias and whether or not they're racist. Now, I was actually reading a pretty good article about this week by a gentleman called Sam Jackson, I believe his name was. There was no picture on the article of the author, but I'm willing to say it's probably not that Sam Jackson. But he was writing an article about militias after the Charlottesville issue and whether or not they are racist, because a lot of people saw them as defending racism in Charlottesville. Well, believe it or not, the article was actually very fair. And now, to deny the racist history of militias would be the epitome of ignorance and dishonesty, because they're very racist. The history of militias is very racist, especially during the Jim Crow era. They were basically formed, a lot of the militias that existed now and then, to keep uppity black people in their place, to instill fear in a newly free black population. So that racist history is there. But this is America. Pretty much any group that's been around for more than 50 years has a racist past. That's just where we were as a country. We don't deny it. We don't celebrate it. We learn from it and move on. We become better because of it. We don't let it define us. So that's a positive thing about this country. Even though we have very racist roots in a lot of things, we have decided we were wrong. We have learned from that, and we're going to be better now. And the fact that we've striven to be better, even though it wasn't easy, shows that we're on the right path and we have the right mindset. There might be a hiccup here and there, but overall we're doing the right thing. And militias are pretty much the same. They may have had racist backgrounds, but they're not racist. They are not any more racist than everyday people. This article talked about, what happened in Charlottesville. And I'm going to say, I went on the record right away about the militias being there in Charlottesville saying I disagreed with it. I didn't think they should be there, and I didn't think they should be allowing themselves to be viewed the way they were allowing themselves to be viewed, lined up with their backs against the racists as if they were defending the racists from everybody else. Now, they were there to defend the First Amendment and to keep the peace. That's why they were there. But unfortunately, it came across looking like they were defending racists. Because here's the thing I'm going to say. I agree with the First Amendment. Unfortunately, the First Amendment only deals with government. I only step in if the government or a faction of a government tries to interfere with people's free speech. That's when I see it's time to step in. However, when it's just other people having a problem with other people saying stuff, I don't see a need to step in unless I agree with whatever side is being attacked. So I don't need to step in when racists speak, because I support their ability to be a racist, their right to be a racist if they want to be one. I even agree with their right to say whatever racist thing they want to say, no matter how hateful it is. But I don't have to provide them a platform. I do not have to facilitate their message in any way, and I do not need to protect them from the ramifications of their message when other people hear it. If I do that, if I choose to defend someone that I think is saying something disgusting, then I somehow own their message to a degree, at least in the court of public opinion. And I'm not going to put myself in that situation because mainly I don't want to take a risk for that person. Period. If I don't agree with them, if I find them disgusting, I don't see the need to give them a platform, and I don't see the need to protect them. Now, the militia might feel different. They might say, we're there to protect the peace. And I would have agreed with that. And I would have had a better time looking at them standing there if they had stood in between, one facing one way, one facing the other, alternating down the line, one person looking at one side, one person looking at the other, back and forth. That way they could be saying, we are keeping the peace, we're keeping you two people apart so you don't enact violence, because violence is not called for right now. If they'd done that, I'd have been more okay with it, but unfortunately they lined up, with their back to the racists, and it looked like they were protecting racists. But they weren't. They were not. These were just people that were trying to keep the peace, but unfortunately they are not PR experts. They are not image consultants. They don't know how to go out there and get their message across perfectly. That's a lot of times we run into that in the gun community. People that are open carry activists, etc. They have good cause and they want to do good things, but they aren't the most savvy people about going about it. They're not advertising specialists. So even though they were there, it doesn't make them racist. And since that event in Charlottesville, the two biggest militia groups that I'm aware of, the 3 Percenters and the Oath Keepers, well, a lot of the prominent Oath Keepers will say, yeah, we made a mistake being there, we made a mistake in the way we did it, we allowed ourselves to be portrayed as we were protecting racists. And the 3 Percenters have even gone further and issued a stand-down order when it comes to any alt-right events, because the alt-right organized this Unite the Right event. And I'm going to say a lot of people up to that point thought, well, the alt-right's just a political organization that doesn't believe in some of the things the Republican Party's doing. They didn't realize that they were just a rebranding of white nationalists. And then this event kind of showed them, oh crap, they're just white nationalists, and here we are standing next to them, and we're getting out of here. But, you know, them being there didn't make them a racist. And like I say, the Oath Keepers, if a lot of them came out and said, yeah, we did it the wrong way. The 3 Percenters have issued a stand-down order when it comes to alt-right events. So they are showing we're not racist. And a woman named Amy Cooter, and yes, that is her name, Cooter, she did a study, and she's a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, actually, I think, that studies racism. Racism is her thing. I mean, she's not racist, but that's what she studies. And she did an intensive study of militias, and she found that, yes, racism does exist in militias, but at no higher a rate than it exists in other organizations of similar composition, meaning mostly men. So no higher rates of racism exist in militias than do in general population. And in fact, it might be smaller because people that are in the militia have a grander purpose. They actually want to do good, and therefore they're more, I guess you would say, conscious of their decisions and conscious of what they think and what they say and what they do. So because they're trying to be a better person, they're trying to honor the organization that they're a member of. So there might even be less racists in your standard militia than there is in a local community center or a local church or a local basketball team or baseball team. You know, so it's not like racism is rampant in the militia movement. It just has a racist history. But like I say, most things in this country have a racist history. We've been moving beyond it, and we've been doing better, and militias are the same thing. Right now, as it stands, it seems like even the experts agree, militias are not racist. They are just ordinary, everyday citizens trying to do the right thing, trying to be prepared for the worst, trying to maintain a peaceful society. But outside that, like I say, they're just ordinary people exercising their rights, and that's exactly what a militia should be. Man, there's a plane going over. You ain't even my real